I bet if we turned off the news, many of you could actually plan better. Let's get to it. Welcome. Another fabulous episode of IBF On Demand. I'm your newsworthy and anchor-in-chief, Eric Wilson. You can find me at Eric at IBF.org. That's Eric at IBF.org. Thanks for the follows and subscribes. As always, you can find me on LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you get this podcast. I'm on any of the socials. Just find me. I want to thank our sponsor, Arkiva, driving business transformation by solving what others cannot. Thank you, Arkiva, for being a wonderful sponsor, and check them out as well. Breaking news. It is difficult to plan during times of uncertainty and the unknown. Shocker, isn't it? I actually had a question last week. How do you plan when you don't know what tomorrow's headline or tariff or price increase is going to bring? Well, it kind of goes back to how I opened this up. My first response is turn off the news or stop scrolling social media. You will actually be able to start planning better. But the truth is, there is a lot going on right now. U.S. average import tariffs have jumped from 2% to nearly 15% since January. In April, the baseline tariff was 10%, was set on most imports, escalating to 50% for select countries like Brazil, unless new trades were reached. Tariff uncertainty is already denting demand and impacting P&Ls. We are seeing the impacts of it. I said I talked to a lot of companies. A lot of people are reaching out to me. They are reacting to it already. Even if you're not watching news, I'm sure you're discussing it in your S&OP reviews, or you're hearing about it from your CFOs. These are true things that are going on, and they are impacting the economy, and they are impacting supply chain, and they will impact your demand plans. In this episode, I want to explore what's really happening with tariffs, inflationary pressures, price increases, and demand responses. And more importantly, how we can keep our planning processes smart, calm, agile in the face of everything we're seeing and hearing right now. We are seeing the impacts or potential impacts coming. As I work with companies and talking with companies, I'm already hearing this. This isn't the headlines. This is what I'm hearing today. This is what companies are actually doing. This is what I am seeing right now. Many companies are just reacting and trying to figure things out. That's not a surprise. They tend to do this. We tend to overreact to things. And with that, companies are fully creating the bullwhip once again. First with tariffs, and now with price increases, we're seeing the bullwhip come full circle and coming back. When the tariffs were first initially a thing, many companies announced they were increasing inventories to protect versus the unknown. I get that. And a lot of companies added about 2 to 3 weeks worth of inventory at that time with unsure of what was going to happen next. Now we're looking at across the board sweeping price increases. What I am hearing is on average right now a 20 to 30% increase. This goes with CPG, that goes with food and beverage. It goes with a lot of the large retailers. I'm talking to all of them right now, and on average, it's about a 20 to 30% increase. Now, some of them are trying to be, more precise. Some of them are taking across the board, even though some don't have tariffs on everything, just so they can absorb the uncertainty, the risk, and take advantage of some of the opportunity to be able to increase prices they haven't done in a while. So 20 to 30% is the average I'm seeing right now. And with this, they're trying to figure out what impact they're having to sales. Most of the price elasticity models that companies are going with right now, I'm hearing from companies, is for every 1% increase, they're looking at a 0.6% decrease in sales. So what that means is about a 15% reduction in units is what they're seeing. So they're going to see a reduction in the unit. And they've already increased inventory. So guess what? Yep. Now people are slamming on the brakes, trying to pull back some of that orders they have, production they have, and we're seeing that now. This is what we're anticipating. So the bullwhip is back and better than ever. Panic always leads to overreaction. Too much inventory, massive demand swings, chaotic forecast. That is what happens. Tariff headlines shouldn't become demand signals, yet too often they do. And planning based on speculation is surely a recipe for waste. I mean, tariffs are good for me. I'm getting more calls now than ever. I'm happy to help. IBF is happy to help as well. I love to travel. So, please keep up breaking things and calling me to come in and help me tell you what you did wrong. I'm happy to do that. Or we can just listen to this episode. The other good thing is guaranteed material for future podcasts about mistakes companies are making and what they should have done. So I don't mind this a bit. I'm just thinking maybe we can do a little bit more ahead of time or right now to be able to prevent some of the things you're doing. So here's what you need to do. This is what I've heard from others. I'm not inventing these things. This is just what we've seen work through COVID and other types of chaos. So this is the playbook. This isn't magic. This is what other people say and found out it works. I'm just relaying it to you. Number one, and I've said this multiple times, and unfortunately we still don't get it. Make smaller adjustments more frequently. Smaller, more frequent adjustments. That seems to always be one of the best things you can do when you don't know what's going to happen next. The big mistake is overcorrecting, and that seems to be what we typically do. We need to take the emotion out of it. And nobody knows what that guy in the Oval Office is going to do next, or stop trying to guess or react to the next headline. We don't know. You don't know. So make the smaller incremental adjustments as we do have more information. Research shows that incremental changes improve agility and minimizes the bullwhip effect. Think like a thermostat, not a switch. When you hear something, automatic adjustment and flow, okay, well, now we're going to do that. Now we're going to do that. No. We have a little bit of new information. Let's make a small incremental change until we have more information and then continue to make those adjustments ongoing. If you can bake those in automatically, wonderful. Or change the cadence of some of your meetings. Make sure you have a weekly type of S&OP type meeting or war room that you can bring in the information as we're seeing it and then make small adjustments as you have that information available. The next, beware of chasing prices and customers. I'm seeing too much of this go on during times when they overreact with inventory, they overreact on something else. Supply is not the only one that overreacts. We see the same overreaction a lot of times in sales, in marketing, at the executive level. That leads to chasing pricing and chasing customers. Dynamic pricing introduces more noise into an already noisy system. So try what kind of like that small adjustments more frequently. If I can hold off and then wait and see how things play out, I might find a better opportunity. I said, as I quickly adjust pricing up and down, here's a price increase. Now we're going to have a big sale or rebates. I'm doing all these things to manipulate the market or try to maintain a margin number. those are introducing a lot of noise into a noisy system. Every time I try to manipulate a signal, I'm actually making that signal probably more noisy than anything else. I've seen it too often that price increases, slower sales, excess inventory, then equals a price reduction. You are creating your own cycles inside your business that is causing problems to be able to plan to and inventory issues. Shaping demand is a template, but becomes an inventory consequence almost every time. It all adds to irregularities in demand patterns, which equals uncertainty. If you're looking at too much inventory, the 1% reduction of uncertainty equals a 6% on average reduction in safety stock. Okay, I could be able to reduce my inventory if I can forecast better and have less uncertainty. We all kind of intuitively know that. Well, guess what? The formula works the other way as well. Every time I add uncertainty into my model, price increases, sales. Every time I add uncertainty into my model, guess what? It causes extra inventory then as well. It will happen every time. So be careful, beware of chasing pricing customers too quickly or too radically. Number 3, shorten your response times. Not everything is a forecasting problem. I mean, guess what? Forecast isn't always the blame. There are supply sides, there's marketing sides. Guess what? On the supply side, we need to be more flexible. We need to take out latency out of the signals we're getting on the supply side from customers, from suppliers, from manufacturing, from logistics. Everything has a signal. Take the latency out of those signals. Build in more agility on your supply side. A lot of times when we look at demand sensing, the problem isn't on the forecasting side, getting the signal quicker, translating into something usable. The problem generally isn't always on the demand side when it comes to demand sensing. It's the supply can absorb that quick of a signal. They have batching, they have planning processes. Yeah, that's the way supply works. We need to start looking at some of those, though, and making us more flexible on the supply side. Additionally, we need to be able to figure out ways we can be more flexible as far as manufacturing capabilities, sourcing capabilities, lead times, supply, all those things. We need to build in some flexibility there as well. Because uncertainty exists, we have to buffer versus that uncertainty. And some of that buffering is going to be being able to produce more, different ways of transportation, and lead time as well. Once again, if you want to reduce inventory, for every 1% reduction of lead time, it's about a 0.95% reduction of safety stock, almost a 1-to-1 on average. So if you really want to reduce your lead time and inventory, then you want to reduce your lead times then as well. Compress the time it takes to respond, not just within the forecasting horizon. Number 4, rationalization, SKU rationalization, portfolio optimization. You cannot be all things to all customers. We know that. More SKUs will equal more inventory and more chaos, especially when we see uncertainty hit. That's one of the biggest lessons we learned through COVID. When everything was uncertain and we're trying to figure things out, the complexities magnify themselves when you have complexities in your portfolio as well. Cutting just 10% of your SKUs could yield to about a 5% reduction of inventory. So, guess what? The inverse works there as well. As we keep adding SKUs in to try to make up for these and not getting rid of something, we are adding inventory almost every time. And as complexities hit, those complexities compound themselves across all the different SKUs we have. When we have inventory problems, a lot of times we have portfolio problems as well. So be more strategic on what SKUs you carry now more than ever. Now is a perfect time for a SKU optimization, portfolio optimization type of project, understanding impact of different SKUs. And remember, not everything is a forecasting problem. This one could be a product management problem then as well. And then the final one then, the same way I said lead times, look at your lead times from your sourcing, suppliers, manufacturing capabilities. You need to look at those. You may want to look at your customer as well. What is your lead time to your customer? What's your customer expectation? I know this one's a lot of times taboo, but guess what? If you're worried about that 20, 30% price increase and you want other options you can do, there is another option out there. Lower your expectation to your customer. I might be able to service my customer with better margin if I can flex how I service that customer. Maybe they're not a 98% service level, maybe a 90% service level. Maybe instead of 2 days, I deliver in 5 days. I get a lot of times these are taboo for some companies, but at the same time, by putting that in the equation, I now have something else I can do with a certain segment of my customers or a certain segment of my items. I said we're looking at portfolio optimization. One of the outcomes of your portfolio optimization might be, hey, these are my true C items that I might treat differently. Or I might tie that into a customer segmentation and find out, hey, guess what? These are my true C customers. I may increase the price on these and find different ways to service these other customers. So all customers aren't created equal. All items aren't created equal. Customized based on the customer's actual needs, your portfolio's actual capabilities, and know what your system and customer and product defaults or what their capabilities are and what you want them to be. Uncertainty is not going away anytime soon, especially when there's tariffs, policies, decisions are pretty much on the flip of a tweet. Pricing changes are coming. On average, I said, we're seeing 20% or more on average as far as the price increase out there. This will impact sales. Every 1%, about a 0.6% reduction. We will see the impact of price, and we will see the impact of sales. That is a guarantee. We need to start planning for it and find ways we can manage it, reduce it, and be able to not overreact to the headlines and what's happening. Good planning isn't about predicting politics. It's about building systems that are reliant, measured, and adaptive. So the next time a headline makes you want to double your inventory or run a fire sale promotion, stop, pause, go back, listen to this podcast. Ask the right questions. Take smaller steps more frequently and plan like someone who knows that agility will beat anxiety every time. Well, that's a wrap. I'm going to go see what chaos the news has for me today. My name is Eric Wilson. You can find me at eric@ibf.org. That's eric@ibf.org. I want to thank our sponsor, Arkiva, driving business transformation by solving what others cannot. Thank you very much, Arkiva. And I am here to help foster the growth of demand planning, supply planning, portfolio optimization, S&OP related fields. And I am here to help companies. I said up front that, I'm getting a lot of calls right now, and this is what's going on is actually healthy for me. Please, if you do have a question, reach out to me. Eric@ibf.org. That's Eric@ibf.org. Or info@ibf.org. Info@ibf.org. IBF is a resource for you. We're doing this podcast. We're having webinars, town halls. There's articles coming out about this. We're getting you information. much like we did in COVID happened. That's when this whole podcast started, to be able to provide you information. I'm here now to provide you information, and I am making house calls. If you want some more information, happy to come to your site. We can talk through it. I can talk with the executive teams as well. We can see what SKU rationalization project, S&OP process, how to forecast during these times of uncertainty. We are here to help you. It's Eric at IBF.org or info@ibf.org. Here to service, here to help. And remember that what one of the biggest headlines was in 2020 that everyone was reacting to? Yeah, telling everyone, don't forget, wash your hands.